The wrestling world in shock today. Former champion Chris Benoit found dead in his Atlanta home along with his wife and young son. Police now treating the discovery as a double murder-suicide. World Wrestling Entertainment says Benoit failed to show for 2 live events over the weekend, and apparently at least one suspicious text message sent to friends prompted wrestling officials to send police to his house.
Hey guys, it's JB. Welcome to Third Eye Lucid Flow. Thanks for joining me here today. We're going to be taking a look at Chris Benoit on today's program. Chris is a former Canadian professional wrestler. He had a 22-year wrestling career, which included the WWF, the WCW, ECW, Japan Wrestling, and Stampede Wrestling in Canada. Unfortunately, Chris passed away June 24th of 2007, as reported here. And I want to take a look at this case. There's a lot of videos out on YouTube stating that Chris Benoit has been set up and framed. Usually with these type of stories, there's a lot of threes that would pop out in the story, so I want to see if that's the same example for Chris. In a 3-day double murder and suicide, Benoit murdered his wife in their residence on June 22nd and killed his 7-year-old son on June 23rd is what's reported. And after that, he committed suicide apparently on June 24th. So 3 people dead in 3 days in this situation. Right off the bat, we take a look at Chris, and he had 30 championship belts between all the wrestling organizations. Benoit had been one-time WCW World Heavyweight Champion and a one-time World Heavyweight Champion in the WWE. Ironically, he was booked to win a 3rd World Championship at the WWE event on the night of his death. So that really stands out to me. And that event was called Vengeance, Night of Champions. Okay, so in this first news story, Benoit reported to a coworker at 3:30 that he overslept.
With the dead bodies of his wife and later his son nearby, WWE star Chris Benoit communicated at least a dozen times with coworkers. Details of phone conversations, voicemails, and text messages were released by World Wrestling Entertainment. Around 3:30 Saturday afternoon, Benoit told a coworker by phone that he overslept and would be late to that night's WWE event in Beaumont, Texas.
So following this, we didn't hear from Chris Benoit until 3 o'clock on Sunday morning of June the 24th of 2007. As per police reports, the second page of the 52 report states that text message was received by a wrestling coworker from Chris Benoit's cell phone at approximately 3 a.m. on Sunday, June 24th of 2007. When we take a look at Chris's wife, Nancy Benoit, and we take a look at her early career, she was actually a wrestler as well. Nancy wrestled as Fallen Angel and made her ring debut June 30th in 1984. Nancy became a part of Kevin Sullivan's stable of K-Fab Satanists. Nancy and Kevin Sullivan traveled throughout the United States using the Satanist gimmick for their promotions. Kevin Sullivan was also known as the heel Boston Battler. Sullivan's Prince of Darkness gimmick started during this time, adopting the persona of an occultist and cult leader who would invoke the powers of dark spirits in promos and matches. The gimmick was inspired by the then ongoing Satanic Panic. Nancy and Kevin Sullivan were married in 1985. So this is Nancy's first husband, Kevin Sullivan. So, after weeks of speculation, Benoit and woman reveal they're having an affair. At the time, Kevin Sullivan was the head booker of WCW. He booked an angle where his real-life wife would have an affair with Benoit. This actually led to a real-life affair, and so Nancy ended her relationship with Kevin, and obviously she went on with Chris, and they had a son. The Benoit family was murdered on the 10-year anniversary of Nancy's divorce from Kevin Sullivan. Now, when we take a look at Hulk Hogan, he says that Nancy was into devil worship and more. Another thing that's very suspicious is Nancy Benoit's death was posted on the internet hours before her body was found.
But here's my concern. Number one, why is it we're assuming that he committed suicide? I haven't seen a suicide note. I haven't heard anything about the fact that he had 3 days from the time he killed his wife.
Think somebody else hung him?
Wait a minute. From the time he killed his wife and his son, he had 2 days to write a note or write something. Who is this person who announces on Wikipedia that she is dead 12 hours before law enforcement
that's the big
finds her?
question for me.
Who, and think about it, Sean. This says Wikipedia, and where that person sent it from is Stamford, Connecticut, which is the headquarters of WWE.
Right.
Third thing, why is it that WWE, within 2 seconds of the finding of these three bodies, said, it's not us, it's not us. You know, it's almost as though they protested too much.
Right.
How many people say something to stir the pot that a woman is dead when in truth she is? I don't believe in coincidences. If you said she was sick, she was sick and she didn't, and he didn't show up because she was sick, that's one thing. But to say that she's dead and to be right is too coincidental.
Let me, Kimberly, your thoughts on
Yeah.
that. That is beyond suspicious for
I
anybody.
think it's very suspicious on him.
So that passing was predicted on Wikipedia. Chris Benoit wrestled in the Heart Dungeon. This is a training facility founded in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. Many WWF superstars have trained in the dungeon. Another very strange oddity is that former WWE star Rene Dupree, during his interview with Hannibal TV, the WWE veteran revealed that Biff Wellington, who was a former tag team partner of Chris, was found dead on June 24th, 2007. So that's the same date of death as Chris Benoit. Now, in the video game that they have for the WWE, The Undertaker actually brings up the fact that it's going to be annihilated. So we can see that here. This is almost like projecting. They're telling you what's happening in advance, and then it actually happens.
I can't count the number of superstars who have tested themselves against the dead man and come up short. If you insist on making this mistake, then your grieving family will have no one to blame but you when the inevitable occurs.
And then in this second clip here, they've got Chris Benoit saying he's going to wipe out his family.
My wife and my children will not be watching Raw. Because I am going to do something that is unthinkable. I'm going to leave you with my anger. Sleep well.
So that's another coincidence that I find that stands out. Anyways, lots of different takes on this, and there's actually a lot of other suspicious things when you actually read into the story, but I didn't want to make this video too long. I just wanted to grab the top things that kind of stood out to me here today. One thing that we know about Satan is that he's the master of confusion. So when we have a case like this, there's so many different angles where there's so many different unanswered questions and coincidences. Thanks for your time. Like, share, subscribe. Peace.